everybody! Today's video is a little special one. Normally I give you your feedback videos and tutorial videos. This one is for everyone. And even if you're a super beginner or you're quite advanced, this is a good exercise to do at the piano. Just to make sure that you have the basics down, which is the proper hand position. By hand position, I mean, of course, you have to be seated properly at the piano, and then your wrist has to be at the right height, your elbow too, and then your joints and your fingers are all curved. All the joints need to be loosely bent so that you give yourself a lot of sort of bounce in a way. This is to make sure that your hands are flexible and relaxed at the same time. And if you need to, you can give it enough support so that you can make a louder sound. Or do like a harsh staccato, many different things that you would do with your hand in terms of articulation and the dynamic range. So I'm accompanying a letter which I would like you all to ask your parents to print it out so that you could put into your music binder. I have two exercises in it. This actually, I got the idea from this one Japanese pianist blogger, which I thought, oh my goodness, that is a really simple exercise, and it could apply to anybody, and it could be done whenever you practice or whenever you are just sitting down when your hands are free. So the first exercise is at the piano. You will basically just have your hand position. Okay, I'm going to do this. Have your fingers. I'm using the right hand right now. Have five fingers on the consecutive 5 notes. I have C, D, E, F, G right now. And then as you so place all the fingertips on the piano and make sure that your seat height is good. Ask somebody to check you to make sure that your elbow is not lower, your wrist is not lower. Like this position, you just cannot control and you just cannot play well. So make sure your hands are higher. And I don't recommend piling pillows on the piano bench if your seat is too low. I really do recommend having something firm. In the old days, there used to be phone books. Nowadays, we don't have phone books. Maybe school textbooks might do, or if you happen to have an encyclopedia in the house, that'll be great, or a whole bunch of picture books, that'll work too. And anything that is not so dear that you don't mind sitting on. So try that and get your elbow at the right height, and you start by playing the thumb. I'll talk about the thumb another time. Now, next finger, D. And I guess you cannot see, so let me use the left hand instead. So I'm going to start with a G, and then, and when you do, make sure that joint is loosely bent, but you're not flexing your finger or anything, and don't force yourself to bend, because if you bend too hard, you're going to wind up doing this, and you don't want to do that. So where the finger touches the piano key is really this tiny little tip, almost like how the ballerinas are on point and they're dancing on their toes. That's sort of the idea. And as you know, ballerinas, when they're on point, they do some really amazing, intricate footwork with it, and they're also very fast too. So it helps to be on point with your fingers too. That's 2, finger number 3, likewise. And ideally, you will keep the other fingers on the key. And then that's your finger number 4. And then the pinky. Pinky's going to be always a little bit hard. So when you play the pinky so that you have a better support, be mindful of bending this joint right here. That gives you a lot more support. Everybody's pinky is the smallest finger of the entire hand. And to support it, you're going to use this muscle right here by bending this joint here. So try to work on that early. I have seen like piano audition videos of, this one was for, I believe, for a ABRSM, I think, in, I believe the one in London. This one teenager boy was getting tested on all the materials that were required for him to pass a certain level. it may have been like a level 7 or something for that particular organization. And one thing that just made me, let's say, oh my goodness, he never fixed that bad habit, was that it was his pinky. He just couldn't, he did not have a good pinky position. And it was, oh, I wouldn't even, like, I can't copy that. It was, this was bent and this was collapsed like that. So he played it basically like that. Well, I cannot replicate it. So it was like that, with this bent upward, like that. That shape will prevent you from having any support or strength with your pinky. And especially for the more intermediate and advanced students, how well you control the pinky for the right hand and the left hand is very important. So especially for the pinky, make sure you try to get that shape. So yeah, same thing goes with the left hand, nice and tall knuckles. My piano teacher always used to say tall knuckles. By knuckles, he meant this one here. Okay, so make sure that these are always high, like that, okay? So do that, just a 5-finger back and forth, and count 2 for each finger. And if you're not so sure if you're doing a good job, always look, because by looking, you will be able to reassure that you're doing a good job. Do one hand at a time, and counting 2 for each finger. So it's actually, that's it. And you could do that for like your dozen-a-day exercises too. Make sure your hand position doesn't start to fall apart when you're doing a dozen a day. Well, okay, let's take a look at the pink dozen-a-day book. Well, let's say that you're on group 4, walking on a sunny day. Easy enough. So I played it very slow, and just you play it slow so that you can make sure that your finger position is good. So do the exercises thusly, and then if you're doing the Hanon, let's see, you're doing number 2. Oh, one hand at a time. To do the whole 2 octaves, you don't even have to do the whole octave. You just do part of it to play slowly to give yourself a chance to adjust the finger position. Okay, so that's exercise 1 at the piano. Next exercise is something you do away from the piano. So for that, I'm going to close the lid on the piano, and then you do it by putting you put your hand, forearm on the surface. Hand, good piano hand, okay? These knuckles are nice and high. And then you curl, make sure you look at your hand and make sure that they're all well curled. And you touch these joints. This is the one that I picked up from the Japanese blogger, which I thought was a very good idea. Because by touching, it gives you a really direct feedback. So now I'm checking my left hand. By touching that one joint, which most beginners tend to, wind up using, like that. That's the beginner finger position. And there, that's the other one. And here's the other one. For me, it's very hard to do because I've gotten so used to the usual, the piano hand position. And also, if you notice that on YouTube, when you come across a video of the great pianist and you watch their fingers closely, they hold up the hand like that. If they ever do, check it out. That's the moment you see the piano player's hand. You notice that these first joints are bigger than usual. Like that's almost like the Olympic athlete's body shape. Piano players have a hand shape that you develop. My fingers, I don't even know if my first joints are that big. I don't play as nearly as much as those, real professional people do. So maybe, mine are definitely not very pronounced, but on some of the younger pianists, it's definitely very pronounced. And on top of that, you're going to notice that they have big muscle here, big muscle here, which are used to, for many, many hours of playing like this and giving your whole weight into the fingertips, to play a very loud sound or deep sound on a big 9-foot grand piano. They develop those muscles. So so back to the hand position. Have your forearm down, your hand position, get it nice, curled, like a claw almost, and you kind of nudge the first joints. Just nudge gently. It should only give if you push hard or semi-hard. There is no need for you to like forcefully hold your finger in that curl position, because okay, let's say that I'm going to force it now, and I'm going to push on it, and it's not going to give. That amount of force is totally unnecessary, and you don't want to cause any kind of a tendon damage. So keep it loose, but you just want to build a habit of having that position where all the joints are, nicely curled. And again, just touch each joint, and that's going to, help you remember which part of the finger that you're going to be conscious of when you're playing at the piano. And, do it every now and then. Same thing with the right hand, touch, 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 and it gives you some sort of a feedback. I mean, what other time during the course of a day would you ever be touching that particular joint anyways? I actually think that, you could do it just like this, have your hand in front of you and you touch it like that. That will probably help you be a little bit more mindful when you're actually playing the piano. So those are the two very simple exercises that I would like everybody to start incorporating, because I know, we all have a little bit extra time nowadays. So try doing that, and I'm pretty sure that even if it took you a long time, in about 1 month, that hand position, having being able to maintain that good hand position will stick. I always think that, like a new skill, for it to fully stick, it takes about a month. Sometimes it could be longer. When my son was taking the trumpet lessons, and when he was starting to learn the new embouchure for it, his teacher told him that, from his own experience, that embouchure takes anywhere from 1 month to 3 months to fully stick. Now, the case with the trumpet, it's the embouchure is a much more complicated and a delicate technique. So I have a feeling it's a lot harder for it to stick than like your fingers. I wonder if you ever come across neuroscience articles or like a mapping of the brain, how the nerves in your brain are connected to different parts of your body, and that your hands occupy a large portion of what your brain is capable of recognizing. So it should be a lot easier. The connectivity between your hand and your brain is much closer than, say, the specific lip muscle, I think. So I guess that's it. So do revisit this video, and also revisit the letter that I have here, which I will be sending you along. And good luck practicing, and keep up the great work. Bye!